right, there's 1, 2, 3.
Cheers.
Hey. Oh.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. What I want you guys to do is close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to listen to a story that I'm gonna tell you. Place yourself in the story. You're a little boy. You're 4 years old. After a night of your father's drinking and beating your mother, you get up the next morning and you go help him run his vegetable cart. This is your family's only income, and you're responsible for helping earn it. Now you're 9 years old. You're still working the vegetable cart with your father. He still drinks and beats your mother, and you're still expected to do all the same chores and things that you always have. After one such night of drinking, your father burns down your tiny home while he's still inside of it. Your family is now left without income, without a home, and for all of the pain he caused, you're also left without a husband and a father. Life was hard before, but now it's unbearable in a poverty-stricken community. All right, you can open your eyes. That is the reality of the world around us. Though most of us never see it, it's very real and it happens every day. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Melinda. Tonight, I'd like to introduce you to Compassion International. Compassion is a child advocacy organization whose mission is to release children from poverty in Jesus' name. I'm hoping that by the end of this speech, each of you will choose to sponsor a child from Compassion, or at the very least, decide to volunteer with Compassion. Most of us want to help people in need to some capacity. We care, but we don't know what to do, or we don't think we have the time, or we certainly don't think we have the money to make a difference. Sponsoring a child doesn't require more than a few minutes every month to write a letter. It's also an inexpensive way to make a very tangible difference in the life of a child. After reading as much as I possibly could on Compassion International's website and then checking Charity Navigator's website rating on the organization, I also spoke with Ken Wilson, the Director of Solution Design at Compassion. Ken has worked in various roles at Compassion for over 25 years and has traveled to more field offices than any other employee in the history of the organization. So today I'm going to tell you the benefits of sponsoring a child through Compassion International by providing some information on the work that they do. I'll also tell you my personal experience with the organization, as well as tell you the rest of the story about the little boy who lost his father. Then I'll tell you exactly how to sponsor a child. The problem is pretty obvious. Poverty is awful. It takes not only hope from those living in its grip, but it also takes their dignity, their health, and often their lives. According to Ken of Compassion, poverty represents a lack of opportunity rather than the absence of material things. We often think of poverty as solely financial or material, but it can also be emotional, social, academic, and spiritual in nature, and is often cumulative. We know that as college students, money is tight and time is scarce. Giving enough money to make a difference in someone's life seems like a daunting task, yet many of you would like to help others in a very tangible way. Serving other people provides a very real sense of community and fulfillment. It can be difficult in our busyness to spend a lot of time volunteering, much less a whole day or even half a day every month. Volunteering is definitely, however, a viable option. The other thing we don't often feel like we have is time or energy. Children, like adults, require all the basic needs. Food, shelter, and clothing are things that we all need as human beings. Almost half the world lives on less than $2.50 a day. That is not enough to provide basic needs, let alone an education, which is not free in a good part of the world, or simple pleasures like toys for children. Additionally, many impoverished children live in abusive and or neglectful homes in such circumstances that leave them feeling unloved, unworthy, and only add to the diminished hope in their lives. It takes a great deal of time and money to invest in the life of a child living in poverty. Or does it? What if I told you you could invest both financially and emotionally and spiritually in the life of a child without spending much money or much time. And you'd still be pouring life and love into a child living in poverty, just as if it was your own child. I'd like you to consider sponsoring a child with Compassion International. You could do this either on your own or as a group, sponsoring one child where each of you is able to write the child and have that relationship, but divide up the cost. Compassion Sponsorship Program is more than just sending a check every month. It is about the relationship being built with a child who desperately needs it. Compassion provides not only physical care, but emotional and spiritual care as well. Compassion sponsorship model is holistic in nature, caring for all of the child's needs. Sponsored children receive education to defeat illiteracy and provide critical skills, supplements to protect against malnutrition, health care to fight sickness and disease, love from care project workers that unlock the potential within their heart, and Christ-centered guidance through the local church, recreational activities that also protect them from crime, violence, and danger. However, even though Compassion is a Christian-based organization, no child is turned away because of their belief or religion, even if it's not Christianity. Inexpensive, one-to-one sponsorship is the key to bringing hope to a child in need. For a mere $38 a month, a child will receive all the benefits of sponsorship that I mentioned a minute ago. In addition to the care that they receive in their project, they are also building a relationship with you, their sponsor. Through letters and pictures, you have the ability to change the life of a child. Not only does it cost very little each month, it takes very little time to write a letter that will encourage your sponsored child for a lifetime. You can check out charitynavigator.com to see their impeccable rating and read about the success in breaking the life cycle of poverty. I'd like you to take a moment to visualize a world free of poverty. Now imagine that you played a part in the eradication of poverty. Do you remember the little boy I told you about earlier? The little boy that had a life void of joy, nothing to hope for. That little boy's name was Satish. He grew up in Bangalore, India. His story is not so different from so many children all over the world, but Satish's life didn't stay the way it was. Compassion International registered him in their program and helped build his family a new home after his home had been burnt down. He was provided meals, health care, and love from his local project. Today, Satish runs his own business in India. He's married, and he's completely escaped the traps of poverty. I had the privilege of working with Satish in Colorado Springs for a year. Oops, sorry. His childhood story is heartbreaking, but it didn't define him. This is my family and I hanging out with Satish, and these are just a couple of pictures of him. And this is always Satish, contagious, happy smile. Poverty does not have to continue in the lives of those who are born into it. When his children are born, they won't be born into the brutal cycle of poverty. The cycle can be broken when people step in to help. Something else that Ken of Compassion said that struck a chord within me was this. We often think that living in poverty is the lack of things and the result of laziness, lack of motivation, cultural influence, and ignorance. It's easy to write off the poor as undeserving people looking for a handout or as people looking to rip us off or take advantage. To the extent that there's any truth in that assessment, it is a situation we have created through inequality and selfishness. Poverty may be the result of corruption, broken systems, and abuse, but it is not the source. Poor people are usually frustrated that they cannot provide for themselves and their families, even ashamed that they are reduced to menial labor, unemployment, and begging. It is not by choice. In fact, it is precisely because of a lack of choices in their lives that they find themselves impoverished. Satish was given that gift of hope, a chance of escape, and it has changed not only his life, but the lives of his family, the future lives of his children, and it's even made an impact on the community in which he lives. I'll show you a quick video.
me to kind of step into my sponsored girls' world. He still draws lips and says, I'm giving you a kiss all the way from the Philippines.
As I grew up with Yesenia, I kind of learned more about her. We became like really close friends.
We pray daily for all these children.
Every night before bed, the first thing the kids want to pray for is our sponsor kids.
Realizing that this is going to be a long-term relationship just fires me up.
It's funny, like I'll go on runs and I'll see little lizards running across the sidewalk and I'll think, oh, she would love to hear about that.
It's been life-changing for us and our family. Now, our little girls, who are 5 and 3, they get to also now ride ladders.
I actually started sponsoring as a single person. Now it's a family affair.
We'd been married about 1.5 years when I lost a baby, and so that's when we started sponsoring. And when that packet came, I walked 10 blocks all the way down to where he worked to show him that little packet. Reading their letters and how full of hope they are, it just touches my heart.
When I get to heaven, I'm going to be blown away by what a big deal sponsorship was for some little kids.
My family and I have sponsored a child named Rosie Bell since she was 4. She's 13 now. From the letters we get from her, she's quite the little ball of fire, and she's got lots of personalities. She sends us letters. We get an annual picture of her as she's growing. Additionally, she sends us drawings that she's hand-drawn for us. Our kids call her their sister who lives in Honduras, and they think of her as part of the family. There's also a picture of her on the table here. We framed her picture as well to show that she's part of the family. And all of her drawings and letters go on the refrigerator, just like our kids' drawings do. Rosie Bell has a family that she loves very much. But we are her extended family here in the United States. Because of sponsorship, not only is Rosie Bell benefited with food, a safe place to go in a heavily gang-populated community, and an education, we are benefiting as well. We have learned so much about the effects of poverty. We've learned about the culture of Honduras and the daily life of Rosie Bell and the other kids there at the project. Our children understand more clearly the reality of poverty and how it has the power to shape people who are affected by it. The relationship we have developed over time with Rosie Bell has shaped all of our compassion and understanding of other people's circumstances. My husband and I have the amazing privilege of getting to travel to Honduras in October. We'll get to visit several projects, and we'll actually get to meet Rosie Bell and spend a day with her. I'm so excited, I can't wait. We'll be traveling, we'll be making that trip with Compassion International. So, do you remember that little, oops, I'm sorry. So what do I want you to do? I want you to sponsor a child through Compassion International. I want you to either do this on your own or as a group, putting your money together and sponsoring a child like Rosie Bell. But how do you do this? Well, you go to the compassion.com website. You can read all about the sponsorship program there, the other programs that are available, as well as volunteer opportunities. Click on Sponsor a Child. Once you click on that, it will take you to a new page that looks like this. The new page will present you with many search features that enable you to choose exactly the child that you are looking for and that fits you, your family, or your group the best. You'll have options such as country, birth date, and gender to choose from. Some people like to choose the birth dates dependent on someone in their family. We actually chose Rosie Bell because of her age, which is kind of right in the middle of our 5 kids' ages. Some people also choose children based on who's been waiting the longest, or if they live in AIDS-affected areas or in regions where there's higher risk of exploitation and abuse. The hardest part of the entire process is choosing one child. Of course, you don't have to choose one. You can choose as many as you like. The more the merrier, right? Once you've chosen a child and you've submitted everything that you need to submit, Compassion will send you a child packet in the mail within 10 days. That packet includes a picture of the child. It includes information about that child, the child's story, and information about the project and the country that they live in. You'll have access to an online account where you can write your child, see pictures, see past letters. You can add pictures, you can attach pictures to that as well and send it immediately, or you can still handwrite your child if you prefer to do that, and send things like stickers and pictures and drawings through the mail. So today I challenge you to make a difference in the life of a child living in poverty. Just as one aspect of poverty can lead to increasing symptoms and deeper need, the opportunity to remove one obstacle can also lead to optimism, positivity, and improved living conditions. Poverty is part of the human condition. We have a responsibility. We have an obligation to distribute resources so that all human beings at least have a chance to survive and live with dignity. There's a moral imperative for us to help those less fortunate, but also practical economic benefit too. And from a very personal perspective, loving and pouring yourself into someone else and watching your kids do the same is priceless. I provided some child packets here on the table for you to look at. There's some from the different regions that Compassion has projects and children in. Who knows? Maybe you'll even find a face there of a child that you just fall in love with and have to take home with you. You don't have to wait to sponsor a child when you get to a computer. You can actually pick a packet tonight and sponsor if you want. There's also some brochures on sponsorship as well as volunteerism with Compassion International and some informative brochures as well. You can sponsor one of these kids right here, right now. Expand your heart, expand your family, and you won't be sorry you did. Are there any questions? Oh, all right. Thank you all very much for coming.